Okay, so we proceed with this one. Common types of contract used in Malaysian construction industry. Okay, basically what you need to be able to learn, okay, what you will learn, okay, and what is the element that you need to understand. So it's reflect with this lesson outcomes, right? So at the end of the topic, make sure you are able to explain the definition of contract, okay, and give an advantage and the disadvantage of the contract, okay. Uh, so as well as list and define the project delivery system in construction industries and list and define content of contract document. Okay, so in general, as you can see here, there are types of contract can be classified into these two key types of payment system, okay, contract based on payment system, and also contract based on project delivery system, or also known as types of organization. Okay, so we go first to the types of payment system. Okay, it can be classified into two: cost based, or known as cost reimbursement, and price based contract, or also known as fixed price contract. So under fixed price contract, it can be classified into two small group. Yang ini, it will lump sum, meaning to say that it will not involve any measurement. Okay, there will be no measurement to get the numbers of the quantities of materials, of the materials are mainly for this particular contract. As to compare to the second one, which is measured or remeasured contract, okay, it is can be categorized into two types. We continue bill of quantity and also schedule of rate. So bill of quantity and schedule of rate. So make sure hari ni mungkin kita sempat untuk cover tiga jenis ni. Okay, so make sure you are able to at least define or explain what is lump sum contract, what is bill of quantity, and schedule of rate contract. Okay, so moving to the next slide here that I mentioned just now. Okay, in Malaysia, we practice these two types of contract in the context of payment system. Okay, payment system. Ini kalau dalam bahasa Melayunya kita panggil sebagai kontrak secara pukal lah. Pukal. Lump sum. Or else the abbreviation is LS. Lump sum. Okay. So schedule of rate, in Malay we call it as jadual kadar harga. Jadual kadar harga. Okay. So basically there is a list published by authorities, okay, so that the tenderer, okay, can refer to the schedule of rate provided or published by this local authority, for example the JKR and also the JPS. And bill of quantity BQ, okay. So this is the most popular or common types of payment system that practice in Malaysian project lah, right? So kita akan tengok this part dulu, price based system, okay, or also known as fixed price contract. Okay. Okay. To have clear picture ataupun lebih mudah nak faham contract based on price based system ni, okay, ataupun kita sebut sebagai fixed price contract ni, basically the price ataupun cost for that particular project, okay, is being submitted by the contractor ataupun tenderer and bidder lah in his bid. Okay, itu harga ini telah dinyatakan secara terperinci ataupun jelas dalam tender document. Dalam tender document, okay. Our discussion ni kalau dalam project life cycle ni, project life cycle yang 3 phase ni, kita tengah bincang aktiviti yang berlaku semasa pre-construction phase. Maksudnya tendering lah, tender and so forth lah. Okay, so pre-construction. So during tendering phase, the bidder, the interest contractor, the contractor which has interest to bid for a project, they will purchase the tender document. So in the tender document, they need to fill in the contract sum which can be offered by them to proceed with the project. So that price is fixed. Diorang dah fix, diorang dah letakkan, the bidder tu ataupun the tenderer tu dah letakkan di awal semasa diorang fill up the tender and submit. So if let's say their tender, contohlah macam Irfan punya tender has been selected by the client and award with the project. Maksudnya harga yang Irfan masukkan dalam tender dokumen yang dia submit, contoh 10 ataupun 1 juta. So 1 juta tu adalah fixed price. Okay. Alright. So kita akan tengok in detail this fixed price of contract based on price based system lah. Kita akan tengok one by one. Okay. Bear in mind, apa yang penting kita tahu basic definition, concept of the contract and what are the advantage and disadvantage of each types of contract. So for lump sum contract, okay, untuk lump sum contract, this is the very simple means of contract. Okay, simple. Sebab apa? Sebab dia hanya menyatakan berapa harga projek ataupun kerja tersebut secara lump sum. Okay, secara lump sum, secara pukal. Sekali arung lah dia cakap kan, projek tu berapa? Oh, RM50,000. Oh, RM50,000 without knowing the pecahan RM50,000 tu apa. Okay, so basically the single price is put by the contractor, yang dimaksudkan lah, for an entire project based on plan and specification. Okay, so dia tengok, this is basically based on experience lah. Okay, dia tengok drawing and then they come out with the price without any detail of the quantities, tak ada. Okay. So when I mention about that there is no quantities, meaning to say that there is no individual rate quoted for each items of work. We never know what item of work involved secara detail, secara satu persatu, dan tiada harga diperincikan untuk setiap kerja yang dibuat. There is no quantities, there is no rate, price per rate per unit, and there is no price for any individual trade or works involved. Okay. So ini maksudnya lah, detail or approximate quantities may not be issued, tidak akan disertakan with the form of tender. Okay, so as a rule, contractor are not entitled to receive more money than the amount specified in the contract. This is the rules. You mention in your tender yang you submit 1 juta contoh, okay, without any detail, so claim pun 1 juta juga lah, without you can claim more, okay, than 1 million that you have specified in the contract. Great lah. So tender you submit, tapi bila you dah pilih, agreement between you and client, contractor and client, that is a contract. So harga 1 million yang you letak kat dalam tender tadi akan dibawa, dimasukkan ke dalam kontrak dan dipersetujui lah harga tersebut. So bila you buat kerja, you tak boleh claim lebih daripada apa yang you dah nyatakan. Dia fix. Dia tetap, dia rigid. Okay, in most cases, there is no provision to vary the contract price even if the actual work executed differ in quantities from those on which the tender was based. So in this case, tak ada peruntukan. Dalam kontrak dokumen tersebut, tak ada peruntukan untuk you claim lebih. Ataupun basically nak claim lebih lah. Takkan ada orang pun harga RM1 you nak claim RM500,000. Tak ada lah. Takkan ada orang claim kurang. Biasanya orang akan claim lebih daripada harga kan. So sekiranya work executed is more than the price that you have fixed at the beginning, you tak ada hak untuk claim because agreed yang bayaran tersebut hanya sedemikian banyak saja. Okay, so that is the lump sum contract. So this is example of lump sum quotation. So quotation secara lump sum saja. Contractor quote in lump sum for mass concrete punya harga and also for placing concrete regardless dia nak place concrete tu dekat mana, structure yang senang ke, structure yang sukar ke, harga concrete tu, concrete grade apa dia tak nyatakan secara spesifik for each grade, dia hanya akan quotekan secara lump sum. This is based on the experience lah and previous project as well. Ini nak memudahkan, okay, untuk projek-projek yang nak cepat. Okay, example of projects we can see here. This is the types of project that have been adopted lump sum contract. So government sector, Majlis Bandaran and also the JKR adopt these types of payment system contract for this painting work, for the installation of the guardrail, the road work lah, installation of the guardrail, the landscape work. Okay, this is for the road furniture, for example, the traffic light, as well as the walkway project. Okay, so what are the advantages and the disadvantages? Kalau you tengok dekat sini, you tengok di sini, suitable, these types of payment system contract, lump sum, suitable for project or any of work where later changes are not expected. When we talk about later changes in terms of design, in terms of the types of material used, the specification lah, okay, mainly the specification lah kita sebut later changes in terms of the spec. When we talk about specification, dia akan relate dengan the quality and the quantity lah. Okay, the quality as well as the quantity. Quality and then quantity. So, kita tahu bila quality bahan yang you gunakan tu berubah daripada quality grade A to grade B ataupun grade C to grade A contoh, dia punya pricing akan berubah. Same goes daripada quantity yang sikit ke quantity yang banyak. Okay, so dia akan melibatkan perubahan dalam harga. So, these types of contract payment lebih sesuai sekiranya tak ada perubahan in the future lah. Okay. So, simple task lah. Okay, simple and quick form of payment is preferred. So, kontraktor buat kerja cepat, siap, bayar, settle. Kerja-kerja yang urgent lah, emergency, maintenance for example can be lah. Okay, payment are made in stage as identified in agreement form. So basically ada juga kaedah di mana payment ini dibayar secara pukal tetapi dalam fasa. Ada mungkin agreed 3 phase. Okay, ada 3 fasa. Okay, 10%, after that 50%, lump sum lagi, and then after that is 100% or 90 to 80% contoh, 80 to 90%. Okay, so it's depending. Okay, itu juga secara lump sum. Okay, here no physical measurement need to be taken. Ini yang macam kita sebut tadi lah. Sebab tu dia tak diklasifikasikan under measured and remeasured tadi kat dalam ni. This one, dia tak ada. Ini diukur semula. Because of that is no later changes expected, tak ada pengukuran semula. Okay, so dia digalakkan untuk digunakan lah. Okay, because general visualization is satisfactory. You hanya observe saja. Okay, tengok kerja tu dah mencapai certain progress, okay, bayar. Okay, so tak adalah nak tarik tali tape ke apa, measuring tape tu tak ada, tak perlu. Okay, nak tengok. So, the disadvantages yang ni lah. If there is any changes, digalakkan advantage dia yang ni. Tapi suitability dia di sini, advantage. Lebih cepat lah sebab dia cepat. But, dia akan melambatkan. The disadvantage sekiranya ada juga perubahan dalam plan or drawing. Okay. Value of the changes should be negotiated with the contractor. The client dengan contractor need to discuss lah. Basically contractor lah yang akan claim pada client kan perubahan. So kalau melibatkan increase the cost, mestilah contractor nakkan perubahan tersebut kan. So dia akan ambil masa. This may consume time. Bila ambil masa untuk discuss, negotiate with the client for any changes, okay. So it may cause delay, okay. Sebab akan berlaku dispute, kan. Client of course lah, dia akan cakap, you dah basuh harga sekian-sekian banyak. So kita dah agree and this is lump sum, okay, payment. So kita dah fix harga tu you yang bagi. Supposedly you yang dah tahu harga tu you perbahagian ataupun macam mana you nak manage the cost, the flow of the cost tu, banyak mana you nak allocate, itu bukan masalah saya lah. Klien kan akan cakap macam tu kan, dia akan bayar begitu saja. Tapi bila mana throughout the project, tiba-tiba mungkin ada certain aspect yang terlepas pandang by the contractor, tak dimasukkan dengan dalam cost. So klien, cost akan meningkat, contractor akan alami kerugian lah kat situ sebab mungkin dia kosnya akan meningkat sebanyak disebabkan oleh tidak masukkan perkara tersebut dekat dalam kontrak ataupun dalam bajet, dia akan incur the cost. So cost tu dia nak claim daripada klien. Tapi klien tak nak, so dispute lah kat situ. So kalau dia nak negotiate, why reason justify why it's happened and so forth, ambil masa dan menyebabkan kelewatan dan mungkin akan menyebabkan konflik lah di situ, dispute, okay, disagreement between parties. Okay, so from the point of view of the owner or the client of course lah, cash flow tu client tak ambil kisah lah, yang penting dia tahu kerja dia siap lah. Okay, dia punya disadvantage pada client ni bila mana apa yang klien bayar tu lebih banyak daripada harga yang sepatutnya. Contoh, sepatutnya kerja tu boleh disettle dalam 800,000 je, tapi disebabkan oleh kontraktor dah masuk tender 1 juta dan you agreed 1 million, so you bayar 1 million. So dekat situ you actually as a client you are not paying the exact amount lah. You ada rugi kat situ 200,000 lah kalau arithmetic calculation macam tu lah. So for this particular types of payment, dia tak ada provision of payment for materials itself. Material sampai dekat tapak, supposedly klien boleh release payment 10% contoh, 20%. Tapi dalam kontrak ini, lump sum ni tak ada provisional statement yang begitulah. Okay. So moving to the second touch of contract, schedule of rate, SOR, schedule of rate. So like I mentioned just now, schedule of rate ni dia akan, the bidder or the tenderer, dia akan refer kepada jadual kadar harga. Okay, there are several jadual kadar harga which has been published dekat in the industry lah by the local authority, for example the JKR or JPS, Jabatan Pengenalan Sistem ataupun Drainage and Irrigation Department, okay, for the drainage work lah. Okay, so as a tenderer, you can refer to the price yang ada lah dekat dalam schedule of rate ni. Okay, so mainly dia lebih kurang macam bill of quantity. Sebab kalau kita tengok dia punya apa template dia lebih memang sama lah. Cumanya harga yang dimasukkan, harga di sini yang dimasukkan di sini, rate per unit ni perlu dirujuk, it need to be referred from the schedule of rate yang saya tunjuk tadi. Ni. Kalau bill of quantity ni, rate ini you boleh refer pada mana-mana supplier yang you ada contact lah. It's open lah, open. Tak macam schedule of rate tadi. Okay. So, apa yang membezakan? Yang perkara itulah. And untuk schedule of rate ni dia ada dua jenis. Dia ada dua approach. Okay, dua approach. Dua kaedah. The first approach di mana tenderer ni okay, diberi template kosong. Template tu template tadilah. Template contoh, this is the template kosong. So rate ni you kena rujuk kepada schedule of rate yang saya nyatakan tadi. So you fill up this quantity and so forth, you fill up. Lepas tu you come out with the pricing lah. Pricing. Okay. Okay, including some percentage of profit lah. Okay, that's one. The second one, okay, template ni semua dah ada dah. Harga semua dah ada dah. You as a tenderer tengok adakah dengan harga tersebut you boleh proceed with the work ataupun tidak. If let's say yes, you submit. You kalau tak, you tak payahlah ambil risiko apa-apa. So that is the meaning of this one lah. Okay, the tenderer, this is the first type, first approach. Tenderer is issued with a document having the schedule of item, okay, with prepared for a particular contract. The tenderer is required to enter the price per unit or rate for each item, where to refer dekat schedule of rate tadilah. Okay, kalau the second approach, semua sekali dah diletakkan, dah complete dah. Cumanya you as a tenderer, okay, need to agree or not, okay, agree ataupun or quote a percentage above or below the price printed in the schedule. The word is printed lah, printed, dah disediakan, dah dinyatakan dah. You nak, you submit. You tak nak, macam I sebut tadi lah, tak perlu. Okay, so this one, for either types of schedule, for both lah, sama ada harga dah dinyatakan, printed price tadi ataupun printed without price, that you need to enter your price according to or by referring to the schedule of rate. Okay. So kalau kita tengok okay, numbers of quantity ni pun sama. Okay, either it may or may not stated the approximate quantities. Quantities pun sama. Either you yang letakkan quantity ataupun quantity tu dah dinyatakan, terus printed. So contract price basically unit per rate tadi multiply by the quantity lah. Ini approach sama je macam bill of quantity untuk dapatkan harga per unit price. Okay, dalam kes ini schedule of rate ada provision peruntukan untuk for valuation on day work basis. Okay, day work basis, or otherwise is usually made in the form of contract in cases where the quote rate are not applicable. Ada certain rate yang tak applicable pun dekat dalam kita punya schedule of rate tu. So in that case ada peruntukan untuk you letak harga based on work. Basis lah day, satu hari 8 jam, satu hari bekerja 8 jam, okay, mungkin 1 jam RM5. So 8 jam, 8 kali 5, RM40. So RM40 per day. So ada. And also kat sini, a schedule listing the work with the rate to provide a list of rate for the valuation or variation purposes. So when we talk about variation, dia ada relate dengan changes lah. Changes, little changes. Okay, variation order. Okay. So when we talk about variation changes, mesti ada re-evaluation lah. Okay. So by having this kind of template, okay, mudahlah untuk kerja-kerja variation ataupun evaluation of variation changes dilakukan di mana perubahan akan berlaku. So valuation, perubahan harganya akan berlaku di mana. So berapa kenaikan daripada harga asal. You boleh tahulah di situ. Senang untuk detect lah sebenarnya. Okay, so this kind of payment system, okay, sesuai untuk kerja-kerja urgent, maintenance, okay, uncertain. For example, filing work is uncertainty punya aspect lah, nature. Ada mungkin point A, okay, you tengok drawing, filing this point, point 1, point 2, point 3. Tapi when you file dalam, mungkin daripada side view ni, mungkin adalah sinkhole ke, water flow ke kan kat bawah ni. You kena shiftkan dia punya, what we call it the filing work. So pun kerja-kerja yang ada uncertainties lah. Reinstatement work after a fire or earthquake. This is also an urgent work lah. Ada kerja-kerja pembersihan ke, kerja-kerja you yalah biasanya ke pembersihan ataupun maintenance earthquake, ada soil erosion ke apa ke, soil slope failure ke, nak kena cepat. Okay, so urgent work. So benda tu kalau kita take into consideration bill of quantity punya kontrak, dah kena kira satu-satu, dah kena ambil masa benda nak cepat kan. So basically dekat sini pun government project, government sector pun tak prefer lah kebanyakan kontrak ni sebab in terms of discount lah ni. Bila orang beli banyak, orang beli secara pukal, quantity dia akan dapat reducekan the cost. So that one susah lah nak adopted in what we call it the contract for project government, sebab kita takut ada macam okay lah apa kita sebut corruption ke whatsoever lah di situ. Okay. So for this kind of project, maybe orang-orang yang ataupun yelah otak-otak lah cakap experienced person yang dah bekerja dalam bidang banyak tahun, dia pernah face ataupun do some involved in many project, they will know the price, previous project price and so forth. So they will estimate, again, senang untuk dia estimate. So example of maintenance work, this is accident, langgar apa dia punya road furniture, okay. Road signage ni kena pasang semula lah, okay, dengan segera. Because it's relate with the safety lah, keselamatan. Okay, so urgent works, kerja-kerja membina rumah pam. Okay, rumah pam, tapi this is an urgent work, so that dia akan menyebabkan sistem pengairan, water supply in that particular area tu untuk berfungsi dengan baik. Kerja perlu disegerakan, so tak boleh nak masuk harga tu dah ada, so that kena cari kontraktor saja. Kontraktor tak perlu nak fill up ataupun propose the price, harga yang dah ada, kerja yang dah ada, terus dia masuk harga ataupun setuju saja dengan harga yang dah dinyatakan. Itulah. So this again schedule of rate. Okay, advantage kat sini schedule of rate, kalau you tengok dia lebih kurang macam bill of quantity dia nanti, sebab variation in quantities, perubahan dari segi quantity senang untuk kita accommodate. So owner, the client know what they or he or she pay for. Okay. And like I mentioned just now, experience lah otak-otak ni. We have the experience. Dia boleh come out dengan estimation ataupun costing yang lebih tepat lah, accurate. Okay. So it save time. Dia lebih menjimatkan masa. Menjimatkan masa as to compare to bill of quantity. Because ada certain no quantity shall be provided, sebab dah dinyatakan. Dalam template yang diberi dah ada dah quantity. So quantity tak payah nak buat taking off. US tak perlu nak buat taking off. Benda dah ada. Masukkan harga je. Harga pun nak kena rujuk daripada schedule of rate. Pun dah ada rujukan tu. Lebih cepat. Okay, so what are the disadvantages kalau you tengok kat sini? Since only an appropriate quantity of work is known at tendering stage, so basically it is difficult to estimate the actual contract price. Okay, orang yang the tenderer pun macam ya ke tak ya harga ni, sebab kuantiti semua dah diberikan. So dia hanya fill up dia kerja. Kalau dia nak revise balik, dia kena buat satu-satu lah. Harga yang dia bagi tu akan mendatangkan keuntungan ke ataupun rugi pada dia. So dia kena estimate, re-estimate lah untuk tahu actual contract for the project. Difficult to plan the contract program is difficult because kita macam tadi, semua tu dah dinyatakan, bukan kontraktor ataupun bidder tu yang come out with. Okay, and that as well as the project cash flow pun payah untuk di manage dari peringkat awal. Okay, di peringkat awal susah. Okay. The quotation for the unit rate tend to be high. Ini susah juga untuk dikawal sebab dia hanya merujuk saja kan. Tak tahu rujukan dia tu pada schedule of rate yang the latest ataupun yang mana. So sebab dia ada publication, ada revise kan version. So dia kena tengoklah, bidder ni nak kena tengoklah. Ada juga the contractor ada tendency may quote at lower rate. Dia quote at lower rate due to mungkin silap tengok version of the publication dah tahun 2020 tapi you pergi refer tahun 2014 contoh. Okay, harga lebih murah. So this may lead to financial problem lah. So need to be very careful at that particular aspect of it lah. Okay, as to compare to the next one, bill of quantity, kita tengok di sini. Nama pun bill of quantity, of course quantity kena ada dekat dalam you punya documentation. Okay, you kena ukur, you kena make the measurement because you want to know how the actual or the precise quantity, okay, from the drawing and the specification as well, and then dia akan rate your item or your quantity tu, materials tu per unit, you akan cari. Tengoklah supplier A, B, C, you need to compare, and then because you want to get or to make sure your bidding price tu competitive, tak terlalu rendah, tak terlalu tinggi, untuk pastikan you dapat projek tu. Okay, you need to be careful lah ataupun ada strategi lah dekat situ kan. Okay, so bila you quote rendah sangat, takut bila you dapat nanti you pula bankrupt. Bila you tinggi sangat pula nanti you quote harga, you tak dapat projek, tak akan dapat projek sampai bila-bila lah. Betul. Okay, so you need to be able to do that lah. Itu idea dia lah. Okay. So kalau kita tengok ini contoh quotation for bill of quantity, each item dinyatakan unit per rate and the price for each item and the total. This is the example of a project. Okay, so kerja-kerja urban construction or reconstruction. Reconstruction macam project abandoned, and then you are the second contractor to continue the abandoned project, for example. Okay, so or else demolition, you need to reconstruct the same structure with the same drawing whatsoever lah. Okay, so major bridge project where there are many unknown quantities. So this is quantity yang tidak diketahui. So by referring to the drawing, you need to do the taking off and calculating and so forth. So what this template, okay. So if let's say ada later changes, mudah untuk you trace. You boleh trace. Okay. Okay, ini antara example title of project yang menggunakan pakai or adopted these types of bill of quantity. Kalau you tengok, dia kerja membina on-site detention serta kerja berkaitan di taman permainan. Dia buat on-site detention point. Okay. Membina jalan sambungan di Jalan Bunga. Ini jalan raya punya projek. So ada juga menggunakan pakai this kind of contract. So example of project punya bill of quantity, kalau you tengok dekat sini, Saya sebut tadi ada serta-serta BQ yang dia akan guna pakai lump sum punya payment. Unit ni secara lump sum. Berapa? Oh, secara pukal. Penyediaan ni secara pukal dia kira. Dia tak ada kira satu-satu. Tapi item of work ni ada di situ. BQ tu. Dia ratekan dekat situ. Dia masukkan. So, sekiranya ada perubahan apa-apa, sebab dia nak itemize, dia nak tahu item one by one. So total up price nanti dia akan tahu daripada mana dia dapat total up price tu. So semua kerja dinyatakan di sini. Okay, so advantage, ini advantage ya. Easy for pricing. Okay, variation can easily be identified and calculated. So if let's say there is changes, mudah nak re-evaluate. Quantity, contractor tahu dia pricing untuk bahan apa, material apa, kerja apa. Klien yang nak bayar pun tahu dia bayar untuk apa. So as compared to lump sum, di sini adalah provision yang bila material sampai dekat tapak, ada payment yang boleh di release. Okay, so advantage lain di sini, advantage for owner, advantage for owner. You kena tahulah advantage of practice this type of payment system ni kepada owner and also kepada contractor, pihak yang terlibat lah. So I will not explain in detail sebab saya rasa if you read this, you can understand lah. Or else if you have any question, you can ask. So disadvantage for BQ, of course, time consumption lah, time consuming. You nak prepare BQ pun ambil masa, bila you dah submit pun consultant nak evaluate, nak pilih kontraktor mana yang sesuai pun ambil masa, so it will consume time. Okay. And of course kat sini, supervision is necessary and compulsory. So dekat tapak, kerja apa yang is been executed by the contractor need to be supervised by the consultant as well to ensure the quality of work. Okay, so ensure lah you letak dalam you punya quotation description of work dekat PQ concrete grade berapa. So kita bayar based on that rate. So supervision you nak pastikan lah, oh betul ke kontraktor ni guna konkret yang dinyatakan dekat dalam BQ tadi. Sebab nanti klien akan bayar based on that. You kontraktor akan claim based on that. So betul ke material yang you guna tu? As specified in the contract, as specified in the bill of quantity. Itulah. Okay? So these are the differences between lump sum and BQ. So if you have any question, you can ask. This is the differentiate between schedule of rate and bill of quantity. I have been simplified these things. Okay, and this is the differentiate between schedule of rate and lump sum contract. Okay, so do you have any question? You can ask.